my musical journey really began. It started earlier in terms of developing an interest in music. And at first, you first have to realize that you have a gift.
Hmm.
And even little kids
Yes.
realize it.
Yeah.
I mean, you see it in them. They don't really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like just doing what that,
Yeah, that they love.
And but you who are older and more experienced, you can see that. And I experienced that with a group of kids in Fiamma that lived right behind where our building is.
Okay.
And it was 2 Christmases ago, and I heard these little kids singing Christmas carols early December, getting ready for Christmas. And they were doing carols because they had planned to go out. This lady was helping them. This lady had no musical training, but I didn't care about that.
Of course.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
The fact that she's getting these kids to do this. So one day I said to myself, I got to quit just listening to them. I need to go there.
Yeah.
I mean, I just couldn't. I went there, and before long, I took my piano over there, and I called the piano player, and I checked their voices out. I went through this whole routine with them. There was one little girl in there. She made me cry. The kid was just oozing with talent.
Yeah.
Unassuming. She just got it.
Yes.
So I mean, we've got this around here, and I was that way. It goes back before I went to Kip Mountain. It started with a man you will hear about. There's a book that's out about him. I have a copy. The father, J.D. Kate Baker.
Okay.
He was the priest at the St. Thomas Episcopal Church on Camp Johnson Road.
Okay.
He was my granduncle. Father Baker was also a hymn writer. He wrote hymns. And this is on Snapper Hill. And he would be up in the study. He had an organ. He had a pump organ. It's about that big.
What year is this?
This is about 1950. See, Dad left in 53. He got 1955, somewhere around there.
In Liberia.
Right. And he would call us up, me and my cousins, 3 or 4 of us, and say, come up here, come up. And we'll go up, and he would take the 4 parts, the harmony, the soprano, alto, tenor, and the bass parts. Of course, none of us could do the bass parts, but the high parts. He would play the parts and ask us to sing them back. So we would hear them, and you had to reproduce that. And then it gave him a chance to hear what it gave him a chance to hear what his composition sounded like, being sung by real human beings, as opposed to just having the notes. He would put like a dime or nickel on top of the organ, and the first person to learn his part, you would get the dime. And guess who I always won the dime.
So this was like the beginning of your career.
And so I began to, and then after that, I heard myself on a recording. An uncle came from the States and he brought a reel-to-reel machine. And one day he just turned the machine on and let my cousins and I play around in the living room and record ourselves. And I did an imitation of Elvis Presley, Hound Dog. And so we got done doing it. He came and he was playing it back so we could hear it. When it got to me, the thing was playing and he jumped. He says, "Who is that?" He said, "That's Ernest." He said, "You're joking." And so I began to realize that I had something, and I loved it. I was very shy, very, very shy. And so I went to Kip Mountain.
Does that influence Peaceful Enterprises at all?
Yes, Kip Mountain.
Kip Mountain, in general.
Kip Mountain.
My grandfather's from Kip Mountain.
What a man. He had a speedboat on the lake.
I hear he was the grandest of characters.
But I was just talking to someone about him. Dr. Burroughs and I were talking about Charlie D. Charlie D had charisma, and he was smart. Really?
Yeah, Charlie B. Sherman.
Get out! Oh my God! Oh my
My
God!
grandfather.
Oh my God! So I was the associate director for human resources. Done a lot of pension work and all that stuff, and so I have not. I really don't care about stardom and all that stuff.
I think it's way overrated.
And you see how many people reach that pinnacle and you see the problems they have.
Yes.
And you know, just with dealing with the success and being exploited by other people, all this, I don't have time for that. I just don't. You know, people say, well, you didn't pay your dues. I paid my dues. I didn't eat my school fees, and so I can do anything I want,
Yes.
but I can still do music,
Yes.
and I love it. You know, and I feel for me right now, it's important to be here
Yeah.
and to be involved with people like you and the local musicians.